Support the growth of your favorite digital show with just a text. Support Larry Reid Live by texting GIVE to 404-800-4530. Text GIVE to 404-800-4530.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, look. This is what I need for y'all to do. I need for you to go right now to that little share button over there. If you're watching me on Facebook or on Periscope or on YouTube, click that share button. YouTube, give me a thumbs up. Start giving me some comments all up in the comments. Facebook, start sharing all them comments. Periscope, sharing all the comments. Look, this is your most favorite digital entertainment news show. And there ain't nobody on the internet doing it like you and me. My co-host, you make the show. And of course, tonight, I'm going to give you an opportunity to call in and say whatever is on your mind to darn say. I got to update you on what happened. It's just, what time at 8:30? Well, just about 24 hours ago. And this is going to involve some names of some other people. I'm going to have to put some pictures up here. Probably going to shock some of you. It's going to be really, really, really good to discuss. What else is it? Some stuff is going to be like really funny too. Really, 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 really funny. But I'm going to tell y'all what happened. You know, when you put a picture up there, while I'm talking, it's best to keep that clear because my eyes see that screen over there. I know what side I'm on. Clear that out because when it's not cleared out, my mind start going to that, and I'm trying to have a conversation like I'm at the house just talking, and that messed me up. Thank you. Thank you. I'll tell you when. Thank you. Clear that out too. Thank you. All right. Because I gotta act like I'm just talking to people at the house, like kitchen table talk. You don't want to mess it. You don't want to think I'm on TV. I want to think I'm at the house just regular talking so I can be my darn self. And people just don't be understanding how this ain't easy to do to sit here and keep everybody's attention the whole time to a story. Everybody sitting there ready for you to tell a story and ready to talk and call in, and you messing up. And I got to take time to fuss. I don't want to fuss with you no more. But you don't know what the next shot is. Okay, what is it? Profit. You don't know. Anyway, go ahead and share this with everybody. I'm about to tell y'all what happened. I want you to pull very close to your screen. Shoot me over there to your big TV. Go ahead and turn your volume all the way up on your phone. Put your headphones in. And tell everybody you know, go ahead and share the link. Now, if you're on Facebook and you don't want nobody to see that you watching, go over there to YouTube because want nobody to be able to see you watching unless you comment. But if you're on Facebook and whoever your friends are, your friends going to be able to see that you watching the show. So if you're on Facebook, share, so I can have this conversation one time. Y'all ready? Listen. Let me drink me some water. Well, let me tell you what happened. I got an invite for the second time to this whole College of Prophets things. Let me tell y'all about it, because I know some of y'all probably don't know what I'm talking about. You might not even know who been fussing. Yes, there was a heated fuss, profanity, tables were hit, voices were raised between prophets, two particular prophets. I'm going to go ahead and show you a picture of them so you know who we're going to be talking about, but I'm going to get back to the beginning how I ended up in there. Prophet Bernard, Master Prophet Bernard Jordan, and Prophet Brian Carn. Prophet Brian Carn, Master Prophet Bernard Jordan got into it not even 24 hours ago. Now you may be like, well, why were they fussing? What happened? Why were they going back and forward? Why? Well, I'm going to tell you the complete story, because I know a lot of you that watch me are not familiar with church, don't know who these people are, but it's still a good story. You got to listen. All right. So this is the second time I have got invited to this whole College of the Prophets thing. Let me tell you how this came to pass. There's a man by the name of Bishop George Bloomer. Bishop George Bloomer is a very renowned, just Bishop George Bloomer. Why are you bringing all three of them over? I said Bishop George Bloomer. I asked you to have a picture of him by himself. This man right here is Bishop George Bloomer. You see him every Friday night on the Word Network. Well, he is a mastermind, ex-drug dealer, running drugs everywhere, and drug user, and some of everything else. He done told his testimony. He done did it all, and he was doing it even while he was pastoring and preaching. But here, I let him tell his whole testimony, because I don't want to muck it up right here on the TV, with digital TV. Well, he from New York, Bishop Bernard Jordan from New York, they've been knowing each other for a whole heap of years. Master Prophet Bernard Jordan is like, when you think prophets, especially in a certain generation, when you think prophets, the first thing you think about, your most trusted name in prophecy, Bernard Jordan. He sort of like paved the way for the whole prophet thing. I mean, he really commercialized the whole prophet thing, put it on TV, and really made it like a thing. I would say that that's what he did. For the female, taking it, really vast and all that, they'll be worried about him. And we're going to get into that too. But I'm going to tell you all about that, because that's coming up on the show. They tapped this guy in the middle, Demetrius Senegal. Now, put him up there by himself. Demetrius Senegal. Now, hold on. Pause. Bring the thing over here, because I just seen something on my page. We about to have a problem. This is not good. There's about to be a real problem live right here on the show. Why are you even doing that? I ain't going to say that, because that could be a trick for me to get them to say their name on my platform. But I just call them afterwards and tell them off. Okay, anyway, this is somebody that just went live that was at the meeting yesterday, and the title of their live is "It's a Trick, Don't Fall for It." I don't know why they're doing that, but I'm about to fix that too. Well, anyway, so this is what happened. They tapped Bishop Demetrius Senegal. Now, for those of you that do not know, me and Bishop Demetrius Senegal actually had bad blood. I forgot what the bad blood was about. I just knew I didn't like him as a result of some of the stuff that he said and done during a period of time, and I can't remember half of what that was. Probably if I start talking about it, it'll come up. But whatever it was, I just won't study him. But at the first College of Prophets that I was invited to by, put the other 3 pictures up there, by Bishop George Bloomer, he was there. Now, Master Prophet told me about the College of Prophets. Bishop Bloomer told me about the College of Prophets that was happening in Greensboro. And I was invited to come to see what they were trying to do. Now, I already know this happens when I'm invited to a premiere of music. I'm invited to a premiere of product. They want vloggers, they want media to be there so that they then can go back. This is a practice, it is a business, so they can go back on their platform and make mention of it. And typically they're paid to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, nobody paid me to do this. I took it upon myself to do this. And they knew. Bishop Jordan, you saw me on this show when he interviewed me and asked me about his event. They all knew that if I came, the possibility of me getting online and telling you what it is that I experienced from my viewpoint. So clearly, they were not scared or bothered about me coming there and seeing whatever I had to say, whatever I see, and knowing I will say whatever I had to say. They didn't feel any kind of way about it. So they invited me to this, and I came. Somebody said to me, they say, Reid, if you go live and you talk about whatever happened, you're not going to get invited again. I don't care. You don't ever have to, you don't have to ever invite me to your program, especially when it is something that I feel as though that isn't that interesting to the big picture. Don't invite me. I don't care. You ain't got to invite me. But if you invite me and I research and I'm intrigued, I come. So the first College of Prophets I was invited to was held in Greensboro. And what was supposed to happen is all of the prophets that you have seen go viral online were supposed to show up. They were all invited. We're talking about Joshua Holmes, the man that everybody's saying is Jesus, all his followers changed to the last name. Prophet Brian Carn, Matthew Stevenson. Though you ain't got to bring the pictures over yet. Bishop Carlton Pearson. There was a panel discussing hell, him and Tim Rogers, the guy that said there ain't no hell at the funeral. So this was very interesting mix of people. And so I was like, I ain't gonna come, I don't know. And then at the last minute, bam, I came because I wanted to see. And I wanted the opportunity to ask some of the people whose videos have went viral, why you said this, what does this mean? What are you going to say about this, that, and the other? But I had to leave early. I came, but I seen some stuff. And you saw what I said on my personal page about that event and what I said on George Bloomer's show. So this is the second convening of the College of Prophets. Let me tell you what they're trying to do. And I actually think that this is a great idea. What they are trying to do is to establish camaraderie. Listen to this. Camaraderie amongst all of the prophets, particularly the senior prophets and those that will be the younger prophets in the black church. And they're doing this so that they can be resource sharing, accountability, camaraderie, education, expansion, growth. If there are beefs, bury the beefs. If there are conversations that need to be had, questions that need to be answered, ask those questions in a closed chamber. And let's bring the unity, camaraderie, and the integrity of the prophetic, bring it up. So I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. Bishop Senegal said to me, he said, Reid, he kept saying this throughout this whole second College of Prophets meeting. This was just 15 prophets and prophetic voices and apostles that I was invited to. He said, Reid, get on your show and be favorable. I looked at him and I said, I will get on my show and say what the heck I want to say. Even if you paid me, I will get up here and say what I wanted to say. And in fact, I wasn't even going to say anything about this weekend until a fight broke out. And I don't want you to believe what nobody, y'all know I keep it real. You can bring it over. I keep it real. And I tell you, it's my opinion, and you can say what you want to say. Now, I don't care what Brian Carn say or Master Prophet say. And you know Master Prophet is my mentor. So, but I don't care what either one of them tried to get online and say. The truth is, a fight broke out. That's and you can use, and we want to fight. It was a disagreement. Okay, disagreement. It was just an intense conversation. Okay, intense conversation. But anytime you got two folk going back and forward, and they're hitting to the table and the profanity being used, it's a fight. A fight done broke out amongst the prophets. So you got to watch the whole show. I'm going to tell you how it happened from beginning to end. Nobody else that was there has the viewpoint and the vantage that I do because they were not on this case from the beginning. Before LarryReidLive formed, I would get online and talk about things live. This began 3 years ago, and I was in the middle of this 3 years ago. In fact, some of the YouTubers have videos where they're going between Brian Carn's video, his video, and my video, mixed it up into one. So I saw this from beginning all the way to the end. And so I'm going to tell you from my viewpoint exactly what happened. Okay, so like I said, this is a great effort. But there's no way in the world that you can unite people who have issues. Well, actually, there is a way. Because church people do it a lot. But I would say, the people that are involved in this college of prophets really have the mindset to grow, to expand, and to do something positive, beginning in the black church, spreading around the world. So won't nobody going to sit there and see this altercation break out and then be like, no, never mind, we're just going to continue to go on. No, we're going to talk about this. And we're going to talk about this right now. And that's exactly what happened. So let me tell you how this started. About 3 years ago, Prophet Brian Carn, is it 3 years ago? Was it 18, 17, 16? Yeah. About 2 years ago, Prophet Brian Carn on the show, you've heard me call him, it's a nickname, Opposite Prophet Brian Carn. And the reason why I call him that, but he about to live that thing down now. It's because he made all these different predictions that didn't come to pass. Not just the thing as relates to him allegedly copying the psychic, allegedly copying the psychic, or allegedly copying what they call the witch. Aside from that, there have been so many different things with the club shooting that he spoke out on, when him and Matthew Stevenson got into a back and forth about dressing and holiness. There been so decadence. There been so many things that he said that had went viral in between that, and predictions about basketball games and presidents and happenings, stuff that never happened. So it became a trend. So I just nicknamed him Opposite Prophet Brian Carn. Now, just so you know, I absolutely love Brian Carn. Now, I say that about everybody because I do love everybody, but I've been able to talk to him and deal with him, even on yesterday. Hilarious, funny. He is who he is. There's no fake. What you see in the pulpit, that's how he is outside of the pulpit for the most part, from my experience. And so I can appreciate, that's who you are. It's just who you are. And then it's funny. You know, church people are really funny. They got their kind of ways and stuff. Everything's a demon. Everything's a spirit. No, God don't want that. And the way they use, those colloquialisms and different things with, it's funny. And he was very funny on yesterday. So I like the guy. Now, a difference of opinion is what it is. And one main thing that sometimes, where we bump heads is because Brian, like Juanita Bynum and a few other church people, and I'm not picking on the church, but I've only experienced this with church people, do not like for you to have a difference of opinion at all. And if you're their friend, they think you're not supposed, I'm not supposed to be able to do my job and sit here and do my job and express and commentate my opinion. They just feel like I'm not supposed to be able to do that. But I hate that, and that's a sad thing, but I'm going to do what I do like you doing what you do. So many years ago, Brian Carn, at the end of the year of 2014, he was at this church and he began to give this prediction about the year 2015. Well, there was this psychic by the name of Cheryl Lynn who had did the exact same thing concerning 2015, but she gave her prophecy in February or March of 2014. Well, the whole year passed, ain't nobody know nothing about this until near about the end of 2015 going into 2016. And this video surfaces of Brian Carn prophesying about 2015, and they put it beside a video that she done on her page in February concerning 2015. Now, this video is very long, but I condensed it to about 3 or 4 minutes. So you can see the similarities between what he said and what she said. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to speak to you about what happened after that set Brian Carn and Bishop Bernard Jordan sort of against each other. And you're going to understand why what happened yesterday happened the way it happened. And I'm going to tell you almost word for word what they said to each other. But I got to give you this context first so you can understand the things that they said to each other. Let's watch this video. Let's go.
This is my 2015 predictions. And again, I did this on 2/8/14. Now, the first thing that I got is pork contamination around the world.
But I want to tell you, Lord says, stay away from pork next year.
There will be a new strain of pork disease. People will be afraid to buy pork, and much less will be consumed. The pork business will take a hit.
But I want to tell you, Lord says, stay away from pork next year. He didn't tell me that not so much because it's not good. He didn't tell me that not so much because it's not good for you as much. It really ain't good for you, but more because there's a disease gonna hit the pigs.
Now, the second thing I got was watch George P. Bush rise in politics in 2015. I see George Sr.'s health taking a turn for the worse, and he does cross in 2015.
That George P. Bush was going to rise to power. I believe that's Jeb Bush's son. He said to me that the daddy, President Bush Sr., looked like I saw him. I saw his health take a turn for the worse, and ultimately he got out of here. Watch
the East Coast get hit a lot with these violent storms. Power outages up and down the East Coast.
The East Coast is going to have a whole lot of storms. Like the hurricanes are going to be crazy this year. Hurricanes are storms. So bad that up and down the East Coast, there's going to be a lot of power outages.
Those of us on the East Coast, we're really going to get hit, especially Florida. Really, Florida, watch. And in fact, my guide said, those of you in Boca Raton, the house has come down this time. And California, watch your fires. Watch your fires, California.
California going to have a whole lot of fires this year.
Age of the feminine, so it actually makes sense. Again, women more masculine.
The feminist movement is going to come forward.
The homosexual community comes forward as the new love story.
The homosexual agenda is going to flourish.
Now, I see a health scare for the Pope. He will be fine, though.
Just mark my word. There's going to be a health scare on the Pope, but he'll be fine.
The Pope is a very special man and will do much good. I feel very positive about him. However, the next Pope is not good. I'm getting the phrase dark Pope around him.
Lord spoke to me and told me, I mean, as crazy as this Pope is, a lot of people trying to say this is the evil Pope and all that stuff. But the Lord told me that this Pope will be around for a minute, but the next Pope we need to really be prayerful of. Very dark, not good.
China, Japan, and India are the countries to watch in 2015. Lots of violence and revolt.
3 countries you're going to need to watch this year is China, Japan, and India. There's going to be a whole lot of violence in them countries. China, Japan, and India.
Here's my Kanye West. Kanye West loses it all. He is mentally ill, and others around him know it, but nobody is saying anything. And it's sort of like Michael Jackson. Everybody saw how sick he was, but did nothing to help or stop him.
I want y'all to really pray, because I had a very bad vision about Kanye West. I saw him lose his mind. I mean, I saw him like lose everything. Remember like how Michael Jackson at the end of his life, you know, start losing, doing little crazy stuff, but the people around him wouldn't say nothing?
So once this video aired, just bring the picture over of Jordan and Carn. When this video aired, concerning Carn allegedly copying this witch, the internet went absolutely crazy. Now, for those of you that do not know, as I said before, bring Bishop Jordan over. Bishop Master Prophet E. Bernard Jordan has been in the prophetic for several years. I'm not saying he's the first one, but he sort of put prophecy in the mainstream. And everybody was talking about prophecy, and he will always say your most trusted name in prophecy. So those of us that came up in that era are sort of programmed with the idea: prophecy, Master Prophet; prophecy, E. Bernard; prophecy, the Jordans, and that whole group of prophets that they have. And so when he got wind of this, he went crazy. Now, I know him now ever since August, but I didn't know him back then. And now, knowing what I know, now I understand the video that he did even deeper. Because when it comes to the prophetic, Master Prophet is like over the top, for lack of better words, meticulous. If you prophesy this, then this need to be like that. If you're saying this, then that need to be like. He trained prophets for several years. And don't you do that. If you call him first and last names, what do you call him first and last names and social security numbers for? Why are you telling somebody their address they already know? He's that kind of person to stop the show. In fact, somebody told me that a prophet from Africa came to his church, and he told him he had an hour, hour and a half, or 30 minutes, something of that nature, to minister to the people. He asked for a seed or offering, for those of you who don't know, from the people. And everybody that gave the offering, that scripture in the Bible, talking about, you're going to give some money, that I'm going to do something for you. So he began to ask the Holy Spirit to reveal the will of God concerning the people that would give the money. Well, of course, the money that the people give, it helps Zoe Ministries, which is his church, or the preacher who preaching, or whoever. The man went over the time, and Bishop got up and for an hour and a half began to rebuke and correct this major prophet from Africa over and over, and said everybody that gave their money after 10 o'clock, give their money back to these people. This is not about money. When order is set and you a prophet, you got to follow the order. I don't play this. This is everything done at the 10 o'clock was not the will of God. I don't care what he saw, how accurate it was. It's null and void, because the order was given by the head of the house, and we have to respect order as prophets. So when it comes to prophecy, this man don't play when it comes to the order of prophecy. So when he heard the video that we just watched, he and 2 other people he know, a total of 3, got on the internet and had almost a 2-hour session of talking about the prophetic, but I narrowed this down to 3 minutes. And let me tell you, I think he says in this video the reason why he did this. And I'm going to explain to you how this video was at the foundation of the brawl, the fight, the verbal altercation that happened between Bishop E. Bernard Jordan and Prophet Brian Carn just a little over 24 hours ago. This is Prophet Jordan's response to Brian Carn.
Sons, because we need to understand that all of us, because when we were sons of the we were once sons. Yeah. I mean, I grew up under some strong men. I grew under some strong mentors. I mean, I was an Apostle Johnny Washington. I don't know if you know Apostle Washington, but Apostle Washington was rough. Mm-hmm. He was rough with me. Yeah. When I used to stand up and prophesy, I used to be shaking like a leaf. Because it'd be 3,000 folks there. He would sit there. I saw him take people and say, "Sit down. That's not God. You're in the flesh." In the middle of the prophecy. Absolutely. Sit down. Play over them. Yeah. This, that. And then you didn't stop. Take them out. Yeah. Yes, sir. These are the fathers we dealt with in the church. That's right. Absolutely. And then they would turn around and tell their people, "Don't follow so and so and so." They would mark you. And it would be an edict that would go out across the churches, and your members knew not to support until otherwise. That's right. Said by the headship. Yeah. That's fathering. That's fathering. Where are the prophets, the prophetic fathers that are fathering you in your gifting? Because what good is a gift if it is gotten but not guided? Mm-hmm. And then if it's not guided, it's not guarded. Yeah. Do you have a pastor? We're not picking at anyone, but we must point out when that which comes into the church is poisonous. Now, if you want to, listen, if you want to seek a witch on your own personally, that's fine with me as long as it don't cross over and I see it. But if I see it, I have to say something about it. Good job. Why? You're in front of millions of people and this gets out, the next thing we know, we'll have witches in the pulpit. Making predictions. We prophesy, we don't make prediction. I had a prophet call me the other day, and he says, "What do you see about the election?" I said, "I don't see anything." Mm-hmm. They said, "You don't see it?" I said, "No." They said, "Why not?" I said, "Because I'm waiting for God to speak. I'm not going to peep." I said, "Because if I tried to peep into the future, then you're going to get me over into divination." Mm-hmm. And there's a fine line, and it's very easy to cross over into that spirit world and find yourself dangling over here, and you're in the wrong kingdom, thinking you're in the kingdom. That's why it says, many will say, "I prophesied in your name and cast out devils." Do you not know that they were casting out devils before Jesus came? They were exorcists. That's why when the 7 sons of Sceva, it says, "Well, I know, Jesus, I know." Why are we in a Pentecostal church prophesying about the Pope? I'm sitting there saying, wait a minute, are we getting edicts now from Rome? Why are we prophesying about the Pope and a health scare that never happened? Yeah. Why are we prophesying about Kanye? Yeah. Kanye? Yeah. What does that has to do with salvation? That's what the Lord says. The Lord is saying. Why would God come down from heaven and want to talk to the church about Kanye? Yeah. No, something is wrong. Something is radically wrong. And then when you listen to this, what gets me is the prophets that are not opening their mouths unitedly saying, "Just repent and get back with the fold."
Well, the title of this video that I just showed you from Prophet E. Bernard Jordan on his YouTube channel and on a girl named Miss Justice on her channel, the title of it was "Senior Prophets Call for the Shutdown of Prophet Brian Carn." Everywhere I saw this video, it was called "The Shutdown of Brian Carn's Platform." Well, yesterday, as I said, I explained to you, for those you just coming in, put them pictures of all three of them. Bishop Demetrius Senegal was fetched by George Bloomer and Master Prophet E. Bernard Jordan to bring the prophets senior and younger together. I asked Bishop Demetrius Senegal, and if I don't call these people's title, don't get mad at me. I just like calling people by their name. So I asked Demetrius, when did you have this idea? And he explained to me that George, and I call him Elijah a lot of times, this is his middle name. He said that George and Elijah asked for him to pull this together, or somehow or another had a conversation and begin pull, but it was something that was already in Demetrius's heart and already in his spirit. He said, I think he said 8 or 9 years ago. So this worked to get together perfectly. You have George, who is very smart, who knows how to pull people together, very influential. And I went to the first college of prophets that was there in Greensboro. George is in Africa now, I think. So, and Elijah's on his way to Africa. And so Demetrius held it here in Atlanta and called 15 other prophets or apostles together to talk about forming this college of prophets. So this has taken months of planning. I think they even have a third one in January coming up. And you probably can follow Demetrius on his IG or George or Elijah. Either one of them, you can find the information about that. Because like I said, I think that this is a great idea. We need the camaraderie, even the correction that may needs to happen. And this is what I really think that Master Prophet was trying to do in the video, is to correct what he was seeing as opposed to just correcting Brian. Well, we're in the meeting on yesterday, and we get to talking about the threats. No. It was the weaknesses. It was a SWOT analysis. So the weaknesses of a college of prophets, what there could be the right now and the foreseen weaknesses. And one of the things that I think it was me that highlighted about brotherhood, and it sort of came back up. So Prophet Carn begins to say, one of the things we need to work on is how to talk to each other when we got something in our heart or we feel a certain kind of way. We need to have integrity. We need to make sure that we know how to talk to each other, call our brother, we got something to say, versus getting online and saying all this stuff. And there was a lady that is very, very smart. I'm going to put a picture up. Her name is Marcia Morrison. At this time, she had the floor. And she was up there talking. She is a smart woman. She's into engineering, science. She worked with this one, that one. I ain't going to name the companies that she's like the brainchild behind. You went really quick while I was still talking about her. There was the brainchild behind it, and she was really the one that was doing everything at that particular time. So she's making all these notes. I'm still talking about her. Bring her back, nigga. She was going through these notes and really talking about stuff. She was doing really, really good. But this sort of like broke through in her session when Brian said that. And then she said, well, I don't think she knew what she was messing with. She was like, well, the way that you're talking about, what exactly are you talking about? What are you talking about? And so there was a girl named Dewan. I think she's an apostle and she worked in media too. And she said, oh, Lord. I think she knew, but I don't think Marcia knew. So when she asked Brian that, it's like somebody opened up a furnace and he just went in. He said, well, I'm talking about what happened with Master Prophet. Now, mind you, he was as respectful as possible to Master Prophet. He said out of his mouth, I respect your ministry. I respect who you are. But Brian was so emotional at that moment. And it was in that moment that I realized, and I did not know this. Maybe y'all need to tell me something I don't know, because anytime I ever tuned on to Brian's lives, anytime I've ever talked to him on the phone, he's very, in the pulpit, So I'm thinking, this boy ain't got no feelings. He don't care about nothing. Don't nothing bother him. But it was in that moment, because I was sitting there and I was paying attention. And in that moment, I realized, oh, he's hurt. which later on I asked him after all happened, I said, Brian, I didn't even know you were hurt. He said, yes, and I'm a sensitive person. So I said, that's an eye-opener to me. I said, because not the way that you be talking, the way you be doing. He said, no, I'm a very sensitive person, and I've been hurt through all of this. He said, not just with E. Bernard Jordan, but the entire body, how they treated me after this whole witch thing. So I'm going to get back to that. So Marcia, she said, well, what are you talking about? And he just, now I don't care what nobody else say. Y'all know I keep it real. I have friends. I love both of these people. This is my purity mentor. But I'm going to keep it real. Brian, in my opinion, was at the highest level of passivity, but he was trying his best to keep his composure. But there was a girl sitting beside him named Genesis, who I just met yesterday. I would see her hand. I watch. The Bible say watch as well as pray. You got to watch, especially you dealing with black folk, and I don't care what y'all say. Y'all, my white followers and friends, y'all can't say this. I can. You got to watch the niggas. You don't. When you pray like this. And you look. You got to watch as well as pray. Don't you pray with your eyes closed? Not in that church. You can't. You got to look. You close your eyes for a little piece, but look around and check your purse, check your pockets, because niggas is crazy and they tricky. And I kept seeing her put it, because everybody was coming to Carn at one time. No, wait, because he really got into the hurt. It's like it was the first time he was able to express to one of the people who, and I'm speaking from his lens, my perception of his lens, who hurt him, who was not there for him, who talked about him and got online and killed his ministry and blackballed him. Now, for those of you that do not know, because of this whole witch thing, this was really like the shutdown of his ministry. And let me explain when I say shutdown. He was consistently on the road all the time. And since that time, he really never went back to that. Although now he's pastoring, so that plays a part. But the reality is this hurt his ministry. And Jordan doing that video to him, Elijah, Bernard, Jordan, doing that video alongside of Brian Mosley and Eric Kincaid Clark, was one of the things that hurt him to his core, and it all spilled out. It was like he couldn't even control himself. And so the first thing that Bishop says to him, he says, okay, we had a phone conversation, because let me tell you what happened. Prior to Bishop doing the video, him and Carn talked, according to Bishop Jordan. Now, Brian said yesterday that phone call never happened. But in my opinion, if I put myself in Brian's shoes, probably that moment with everything that was going on, he probably can't even remember that phone conversation, but I think it happened. And the reason why I say that, just because I don't think Bishop Jordan would make up a lie. And they said in that phone conversation, Bishop Jordan said, I spoke to you and I said these things to you. And Brian was like, I don't remember none of that. No, you just went online and I said, no, I did. Said, no, okay, well, you say it happened, but it ain't happened. And Bishop was like, yes, it did happen. He said, no, it ain't happened. Said, it did happen. No, it ain't happened. You know, they're going back and forth. And I'm sitting in my seat. Now, the commentator entertainment side of me was like, whoa, oh Lord Jesus, oh Lord, I can't wait to talk about it. And I told them in that room, they said, are you recording, Reid? I said, no, I am a recorder. And I'm listening to everything. And I was telling them that they needed to come on either my show, get with DeJuan or something. I said, and use that conversation, because it was resolved. I'm going to tell you all about that too. And that's the great thing about this College of Prophets, because there's some stuff between Brian Carn and Prophet Matthew Stevenson that has not been addressed. And according, allegedly, Matthew Stevenson, because I asked yesterday, will not talk to Carn at all. Now, that's what I heard, and that's alleged. And I personally think that if you're going to have a college of prophets and you want to talk to the millennials, there's some millennials that likes Carn ministry. There's some millennials that like Matthew Stevenson's ministry. And I think Matthew Stevenson need to be on that college of prophets board. It's going to be 12 executives, 12 advisors. And he need to be somewhere on that board giving his input as one of the millennial prophets, if you ask me. In fact, let me go ahead and tell you who else I think need to be up there. So number one, let's do Matthew Stevenson. In my opinion, there were 15 people there, but Matthew Stevenson needs to be on this board. I don't know if the invitation was extended to him or not, but if you're talking about the order for the prophetic, he needs to be on it. What you think, Nancy? If you're talking about the order for the prophetic, if this college of prophets is about camaraderie, it's about education, it's about having differences and diversity come together to give some order and some structure to the prophetic, you got to have Matthew Stevenson. Plain and simple. Plain and darn simple. You got to have Matthew Stevenson. Now, if Matthew Stevenson see this and y'all go back and tell him and he create his own college of prophets, that's not what need to happen. We need to have a college of prophets where everybody that's done seen all these wars, all these fighting, see everybody come together and bury the hatchet like Brian Carn and Master Prophet did on yesterday. But I'm gonna tell you how they got to that. I'm gonna tell you all of the juicy part in between there, leading up to the reconciliation. All right, because they reconciled and it was beautiful, it was great. But let me talk about the ugly part first. Okay, so now I'm gonna tell you who else I think need to be on the classroom. You cannot have, in my opinion, this college of prophets and not have. I didn't even put a picture up here. Let me see if I can find. I can't find a picture I was looking for earlier. You cannot have a college of prophets without Paula Price. What is that book over there by the Prophet Dictionary? Let me tell you who. Everybody who do anything about the prophetic always quoting Paula Price. You cannot have a college of prophets without a few manuals. And this is one manual that everybody has, Paula Price. Look how thick this book is. This woman went through there and prophetically defined everybody and their mama and their daddy, stars, witches, warlocks, the demons, everything, the astral projection, prayer, everything. You can't have, she got to be on the board. I'm going to tell you who else need to be up there. You're talking about bringing people together with input. You're talking about establishing camaraderie, diversity, education, and expansion. You absolutely positively got to have Juanita Bynum. There ain't no way in the world that you're going to have a college of prophets and you ain't got Nita. You need her. Nita. You can't have no college of prophets. A lot of folk ain't never heard the word prophetess until No More Sheets. Juanita Bynum. You got to have her. Let me tell you another female. Two more females you got to have. Prophet Janet Floyd. You got to have Prophet Janet Floyd. You cannot have no college. It's about black folk. A college because you can't do it. You got to have Prophet Janet Floyd. And one more, you got to have some pretty, because you can't, everybody can't be on the board now. You got to have pretty folk on the board because you can't have no ugly folk on the board. Ugly people, we just can't. You got to have this pretty. Medina Pullins. You cannot, what? How you have a college of prophets, the diversity in the black prophetic church, and then you don't have these voices. Let me give you another guy I think is overlooked, people don't see a lot of. I don't know personally, but there's something, this guy got something in the prophetic. I seen it many years ago. Brian Meadows, you got to have Brian, and I don't know how, I inboxed him. I said, LeBron, did you know anything about this meeting of the college prophet? No, I didn't know anything about it. I said, well, how come you know? I said, look, somebody going to call you about this because I'm going to put your name in and tell them, look, they're going to have a prophetic something, and they keep meeting in Atlanta. You in Atlanta, you one of the main pillars when it comes to the prophetic here in the city. Get your hand a part of this board. And let me give you one last that you got to have. You cannot have a college of prophets. And you ain't got Prophet Todd Hall. What y'all think? What? Demetrius, you better call Brian, call for Janet Floyd, call Prophet Todd Hall, call Juanita, call Matthew. They got to be on the board. Got to. All right, let's get back to the argument. So it's about you did have the conversation prior, and Jordan was like, yeah, I did call you, and you ain't calling me. You just got it there, and you talked about me and the things you said. I mean, this was terrible. And so by that time, you know how it happened. Ain't nobody perfect. So because he was flipping like that, and we were all interjecting. You had Marcia and Demetrius, like between them trying to, and then I'm sitting on the end and I kept saying, but wait a minute, how come, well, are you hearing what he's saying? Well, what you meant by that? I mean, everybody got involved in the conversation trying to get them to hear each other, because by this time, now Jordan is going back in history. He's like, oh, hold on now. You stayed in my house. I had you to come preach at my church. I put you on my show. And then Carn said, yeah, you did that. And because of that, I got canceled. There were 2 stations that canceled and blackballed Brian Carn because of his association with Prophet Jordan. TBN, Daystar, these white-owned networks did not want these black men, some of these black men, because, you know, George Bloomer said the same thing. He alluded, allegedly, that Daystar blackballed him because he had free thinker, Carlton Pearson. Whether you agree with him or not, he believes what he believes. Because he did, the white evangelical Christians said, no, we don't want no free thinking nigger on our show. We want all the niggas that be on our show, all the black men that be on our show, to preach what we want them to preach. In fact, y'all may not know this, you cannot preach the baptism in Jesus' name. You cannot preach the oneness of God, how the Father and the Son, you know, are one in essence. You cannot teach those things. No, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And you have to sign that away. If you're going to air your thing up there, if you're going to say yourself, they control what you preach. It's almost like, you know, the white man telling the black man what he can believe and what he can say. So if you're going to fool up Prophet Brian Carn with any free-thinking black person, to include Carlton Pearson and Bernard Jordan, we banning you. And that's what happened. All of what I'm saying is allegedly, but that's what Brian Carn said yesterday. And to me, there was a dagger in my heart. I'm like, what? That's bigger than this. It's almost like the white evangelical Christians are promoting disunity in our community. Listen, now we kill each other. We like crabs in our community, and we got to fix that. And I always say that. And I never put any blame on our Caucasian brothers and sisters. But in this case, this is what I say. Well, this is what I'm going to ask you a question. As a black Christian, would you support, or should you support, watching and in your donations and in your finances, support a station that promotes disunity and disassociation in our race? What you think about that? Okay, get back to them. So he's like, yeah, I stayed at your house. Yeah, you invited me on the show. You had me and Manasseh up there at the same time. So yeah, I understand that. But, and y'all know I'm being a little extra because I like to do, I'm just extra. But don't you think for 1 minute that energy, it filled up that room. And Dewan was beside me, and she would say, "Oh my God, he's hurting. He's hurting. Oh my God, he's hurting. Oh my God, somebody get him, stop him talking." You know. And Demetrius is saying to me, "Reid, are you recording?" I said, "No, I am a recorder, and this is that. I'm definitely I'm gonna be talking about this. I mean, this is y'all can't stop me. Shouldn't have invited me." So then, by this time, Master Prophet is in his feelings. Now, he might not say he was, but this is what I think. And he says, "I have been ridiculed. I have been talked about." He said, "You mean this is new information? Paul and Jan Crouch, Mark and Joni Lamp, and these people. So these people are gonna ban you from dealing with me. They're gonna ban you because you're dealing with me. There will be no space for any black prophet, male prophet, except it had been for me. I took the daggers. They talked about me. I done what I done so you can stand on my shoulders. You, Manasseh," and he was beginning to call names. He said, "And every young person I have helped have put a damn dagger in my back." The room went quiet. Now, in my spirit, I felt like crying a little piece, because in that moment he was hitting the table and his eyes got big and his eyes got filled with water, and Carn didn't even say nothing at that point. I bet you, I didn't even ask him, I bet you at that moment the entire room could feel the hurt and the pain that was coming. Because look, the whole room could feel the hurt and pain that was coming out of Brian when he began to say all this. He's talking about people that counseled him, people that walked out on him, people that were not supporting him, and how people blackballed him because of, the whole psychic thing. I felt that pain too. I'm like, God, that's when I was like, I can't believe he hurt. But in that moment when Prophet Jordan began to say that, it was like the room went quiet. I said, "Oh my God, it's like the black church we just kill our wounded, and when people just don't fit with what we think, it just seems like we just kill them." And so then Jordan began to say, "What do I need to do so you can be okay?" Because see, after all of that stuff happened, Brian Carn made a call to Bishop Jordan with, oh God, I can't say these folk names, Abagano, the person he was being mentored by at the time, and somebody else, two senior prophets and pastors called Jordan, and they were all on the phone, and they asked Jordan to not say anything else about Brian Carn at all. I guess it was affecting his livelihood. And Jordan agreed from that day to this one to never say anything publicly concerning Brian Carn, and he didn't. So Jordan was saying, "I kept my end of the word. Had this ever happened," he said, "if this didn't happen today, I would have never even known you felt a certain kind of way. I just thought after everything you distanced yourself, I was complete because I kept my end of the bargain. And had I known that this day would end up like this, I would have told Demetrius I ain't even coming." I don't know what I said. I kept speaking up saying something. I can't remember what I said because I was so locked into listening, because I wanted to hear every single word so that I can process this, because I knew at that moment I am going to go live and I'm going to talk about this. So then Demetrius began to say, "No, let's go on. Let's finish the meeting." Now, Demetrius is a wizard when it comes to organization and doing things. He's just not no dumb guy, a smart guy, which is really the reason why we first met years ago. We got along, but I don't know what happened. We always gonna clash, though, because we men. And men, we got that thing. He say what he want to say, I say what I want to say, and we gonna clash. But we really like, well, I know I like him, and he seems as though he likes me. And I actually had fun yesterday at the table with him, Carn and Jordan, because things got healed, and then we started laughing and having a great time. But let me get back to the other stuff. So Demetrius began to say, Did I tell you change that? I'm talking about Demetrius. Put Demetrius back up there. I said, let me get back to the other stuff. I'm talking about Demetrius. So Demetrius began to say, let's stop this and stop that. And Marcia is like, oh my God, she's just standing there. She ain't saying that, but the way she looking like, this is, what in the world am I supposed to do? I think a lot of times when men start going back and forth, the women be like, okay, what do we do when the lions are going back and forth? Oh my God. And so by this time, everybody's jumping into the conversation. Demetrius saying, no, we're not going to do this. And I'm saying, yes, we are going to do this because it need to be done. And I said, I think I'm the only person around here with a master's in counseling. Demetrius said, no, you ain't. I got a master's in pastoral counseling. He said, mine is in professional counseling. What you talking? So we, but we won't fuss, but we're just going back and forth. I said, well, and he was saying, do it later, not right now. I said, no, do it now. It came up now, do it now. And so we came to a space to where we could table it. We worked it out right there, really. And after it was all said and done, everything was clear. Now, in that conversation, Jordan began to say something. He began to say, it's like the prophets of today do not acknowledge those prophets that came before them, even if they're not your father prophet or papa prophet or master prophet, they did come before you. And it's like you don't have any respect, because I told Bishop standing there, I said, didn't you hear Carn say that he respects you as a father? And Bishop, no, he did not say that. He didn't use the word father. He didn't say that. And he began to talk about how the young prophets do not respect the older prophet. He began to talk about his son. He began to share with the room. He had already shared this with me, so I was actually surprised when he shared this out in front of everybody. He said, my son, Prophet Manasseh Jordan, I have not spoke to him in 20 months. And every time I heard Bishop say this, because he said this a few times in our conversation, it's like it's as if I hear his voice tremble. It's like I hear him get weak and almost bothered. This thing bothers. There's one of Jordan, and what's the name? Use that one. This thing bothers Jordan, and he began to say, I love my son. Maybe I'm mixing a conversation up. Maybe he didn't say that yesterday, but I remember him saying this another conversation. How he loved his son. And he done so many things to try to repair that relationship, but his son just didn't understand the stance that he took as relates to some of the stuff that he's involved with. Y'all had to Google that. I ain't bringing that to the show. In fact, if I bring that to the show, I'm bringing it to the show with Bishop, his wife, Naomi, Bethany, Aaron, Joshua. I'm going to get all of them together and say, come on, let's do this show. Let's talk about it and repair this. And you remember Bishop called in on the show about fathers. That's actually on the YouTube channel, and he talked about that. So he has said it publicly. But it's been 20 months. And he said what I was trying to do, he said I was talking about, because I had to address, because it seemed as though you were copying a witch. I said to Carn, Carn said to me, Reid, if we are your friends and you love us and we are not the enemy, why would you get on your show and say that you believe I copied the prophet? I said, because that's what it looked like. He said, see, that I don't think your show edifies the body of Christ. I said, okay. That doesn't edify. I said, and then I think I may have said, sitting in front of Genesis, I said, well, I ain't trying to edify the body of Christ. I'm just doing the entertainment show, and y'all keep showing up on my darn show. Y'all quit doing stuff, then you won't end up on the show. If it go viral, I end up talking about it, and this is how it is. Later on, when everything was fine and we was at the airport, and I was dropping Bishop off, and he was dropping Demetrius off, I didn't know we was behind each other, but he got out, and he walked to Bishop, and he said, Bishop, why is it that Reid, and he named another blogger, seemed as though that I'm a vlogger, he named someone else. He said, like they talk to you and deal with you. Are you trying to have them close to you so you can have them in their back pocket and not talk to them? I said immediately, nobody has me in their back pocket at all. I'm not that close to anybody. I said anybody, even if it's my best friend of 26 years, if it becomes viral and it's talk aboutable, then I'm going to talk about it, because here on my show, I'm not malicious towards anybody. Now, you may take it as malicious, but I ain't malicious towards anybody. I'm just going to say and commentate and say what I got to say. I said, so that's not the case with me. He said, so you want him in the back pocket. I think I said, how you talking about? I said, you talking about back pocket and talking about holiness and stuff all the time. You know, and then I began to talk about how tight he wears pants. I said, your pants too tight. He said, no, Reid, I gained weight. I said, no, I saw you 4 or 5 years ago and your pants were tight then. He said, no, I just get away. Let me tell y'all this. Brian Carn is really a nice person. When I deal with him, I feel that person in the pulpit that and on live, I don't get that from him. He seems to be a very sensitive and gentle person. He does. Now, that's my take. Y'all might meet him say something else. I don't know. But I'm just telling you what I think. I'm going to open up the lines and let you call in and tell me what you think, you know, about all of this conversation. So by the time that was over, you guys, and this is why I think the College of Prophets is so good, the camaraderie, it was like a prophetic court, and everybody was involved. And the conversation was had. And we watched it go from cussing, hollering, to hugging, embracing, and a hatchet bearing, laughing, talking, and that happened amongst the College of Prophets. This is what I think, and I wrote this down. I think the College of Prophets is the redemption of the black church. And I think it's a part of the redemption of the black church. I'm not saying that the College of Prophets is going to do it all by themselves. But from what I heard and what I've seen, if this goes the direction and they take my suggestions, who need to be on that board, this here is going to bring the integrity of the prophetic up. I think the character of the prophetic up. It's also going to bring a lot of light and brightness back to the black church. This is going to be a game changer. I know we got the Joint College of Bishops, but I don't even know too much about that. And it looks like it's for a whole bunch of old folk. But this here is going to do what the Joint College of Bishops cannot do, because it's not in their DNA. It's in the DNA of the brainchild of these three called COP, the College of Prophets. Let me tell y'all then. It went from literal to conversation, hearing Bishop listen to Carn, Carn listen to Bishop. You watch Carn go from hurt to healing. You watch Bishop go from hurt to healing. He began to hear what he was saying. Bishop said, y'all are fathers. Y'all just young fathers. He said, and we see you guys as young fathers. So you're important to us. And Demetrius said this, and then I echoed, and I think Carn did too. He said, but y'all don't talk to us like that. And Bishop said, that's fair. That's fair. Now, I do know Bishop talk. Look, like when Bishop called my phone, he'll tell you, I say, Elijah Bernard, how you doing? He said, hey, Larry, we don't even use titles. And we can talk about politics, prayer, the prophetic, natural life stuff, laugh, cut up, and then it go into a mode where he's telling me something I need to know as a mentor. We don't see a lot of that. And I think the millennials, because there had been a void there in fatherhood and probably in the black family, the fathers out, I think it's hard. And I do know a little bit from online about Brian's story with his father. I think some of this problem is going back to fatherlessness. And I watch healing take place right there at, if that was a prophetic look into what the College of Prophets is going to do. I think this is the redemption of the black prophetic church. And I think that this is going to be some kind of good. All right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to a commercial. I'm going to open up the phone lines, and I want to hear what you have to say. Maybe while we're talking back and forth, I remember something that I forgot totally yesterday, and I will share it as the show go on. I'm going to try not to be up here much longer, but you only got 1 minute, and you got to move quick so I can take a lot of you in. Let me give you the number before we go to the commercial. Good God Almighty, I need some water. Lord Jesus. The number is our 678. Over. Yeah, I'm on. You just didn't have it brought over. It's your fault. Because I clicked the video. Okay, but so you should be watching. Won't you pay attention to this like you trying to pay attention to being there chatting in the darn room? Anyway, I'm gonna play this video. This is from Jordan. This is Jordan's Zoe Ministry, the company prophet. I'm gonna tell you something about this. You know, I'll keep it real. I'm gonna tell you what I have experienced. And I know this. A lot of people might not like what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna keep it real. So sign up for the free prophecy because they had a glitch. They had a glitch in the system. So if you ever signed up and you didn't get it, it's because you just found out there was a glitch, just been fixed. Just got everything together. Go back and re-sign up and get your free. This is free. A free. And I done told you ain't get no free prophecy from Larry Reid. This nothing happened. You ever go to lifeguy4you.com to you want a session of prophecy, you're going to pay me. I am not doing it free. I don't have the collateral to do anything free. Let me say this. You can't pay for no prophecy. No darn way. I don't know why in the world they even put that on George talking about he's selling prophecy. How in the whole hell and the heaven can you sell a prophecy? That's like somebody, you going to buy a sermon. But y'all ain't got no problem giving. You ain't this it's your response to a service that somebody give you, nigga. It's a response. Oh, what's going on? This water ain't lubricating enough, Lord. It's like I need some oil versus some water. Okay, so you write down this website and make sure you sign up because they had a little piece of glitch and go and get your free prophet. And this Jordan, I'm going to tell you something about this because I experienced with this. Go ahead and play the video. I'll come right back.
Are you in need of direction? Is there an important decision that you have to make? Or maybe you're curious about the future. If that's you, go right now to yourpersonalprophecy.com for your free prophecy. Don't wait. Visit yourpersonalprophecy.com. Do it today. Support the growth of your favorite digital show with just a text. Support Larry Reid Live by texting GIVE to 404-800-4530. Text GIVE to 404-800-4530 today.
All right. Whew, Lord Jesus. I'm tired. What was I hollering? I feel like I'm preaching. Jesus lamb. Okay, so this free prophecy thing. That's Jordan now. I'm going to rework that video so y'all can do it. I'm going to tell you what happened to me. Those of you that follow me on my page, I've only driven like 2 cars over the last 20 years. Either it's a Cadillac or a Mercedes. And so I've been having Mercedes for how long. But I got in a wreck with a Mercedes, and then I went and bought this other Mercedes, but when I got it, I didn't like it and all this different kind of stuff. And I just got it. And so No, I didn't buy cash for it. I don't make that kind of money like I used to make when I was pastor. When I'm pastor, I made a whole bunch of money, but I have to work hard every day to make sure I pay these bills and be able to do what I need to do for my children that are living in Florida with their mom since after my divorce, my 18-year marriage. And I put that out there like that all the time because you'll be surprised how many people come into the show and they don't know where I come from, my life story, nothing, because they just learning about the show. But the old shows, you can learn everything about me. I put all my business out all during time like I'm doing now. So anyway, when I always sow. Now, I always give, and I give several different places. So I've been, since August or September, I've been giving more frequently towards my mentor and what he got going on. So I would break off a piece and send over there, break off a piece. And when you give to them, they always have one of the prophets to call you and prophesy. Well, this particular prophet, I ain't going to say her name. I can't remember no darn way. I think her name was Gwendolyn. She called me and gave me, I was like, girl, but this size seed ought to at least gave me a 5-minute prophecy. This prophecy was 5 seconds. I said, and I called Bishop. I said, Bishop, I don't know who this was, but this girl here, this 5-minute prophecy stuff is not working. Let me tell you this. I said, this seed, no. She said, like 3 things, and the last thing she said, go to the car lot, you got favor. I said, go to the car lot. Nigga, I just came from the car lot. I ain't going back no darn car lot. And TB show, I got a phone call, went right back to the car lot, switched stuff out, and just walked away with a brand new car. And I said, I already had a nice Mercedes, but now I'm going to switch and went back to Cadillac. But anyway, Bernard Jordan of that company, prophet, they train. Even they give you a little piece of word, you be like, this was very vague. Write that thing down, put a date side up, because that thing live is going to come on up. It is your most trusted name in prophecy. What name of the site is? yourfreeprophecy.com. Take your hips on over there. Y'all write it in there, those you watching. Go there to get your free prophecy, get some direction for your life, because you with that crazy nigga, and then maybe you need to lead them at this particular time, and God may got another nigga, a new nigga. In fact, that's the word of the Lord, new nigga. New nigga. All right, let's go. Put that number down there, 646. I want to hear what y'all got to say. 646-787 about this college of prophets and this thing that happened, this fight, this argument that broke out between Jordan and Prophet Carn. Tell me what you think about it and my suggestions to the College of Prophets. Do you think my suggestions were good? Do you think the College of Prophets going to do better than what the Joint College of Bishops? I know y'all done put them beside each other at war already. Already you done did it. Tell me what you think. I'm going to take the calls right now. Let's go. Caller in 3694. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Reginald calling from Jacksonville.
What up?
As you begin to talk, man, I started to feel a little bit better about what actually went on. Carn is from my city.
Oh, is it?
I'm from Jacksonville. But it's amazing how he called out Leandria Johnson and told people not to support her, and she got a family and kids. But he couldn't take a little bit of criticism coming back to him. He's so hurt, but he didn't care about her feelings. He called out Matthew Stevenson about his hair and how he talked about holiness and this. I just don't really like Carn because I'm not no fool. I'm a free thinker, Mr. Larry.
I hear
you. You should have asked him, explain to me about what happened with this, reading these papers and the witch thing. Because he said at the 48 hours of prayer, he's going to hire a forensic team, and I don't follow a witch. Witch follow me.
Yeah. And
the crowd jumped up, because I remember you said that's their place of strength.
Yeah.
So he get in the pulpit and say a few words, and nobody else, they won't even address it anymore. But I'm no fool, man.
Yeah.
And the old man Bush just died last night. He's supposed to have been dead. And he said, "Oh, watch out for the pigs," And the Lord said, and you know what? The girl cussed him out. Who was the girl cussed him out? By the way, Leandria.
Lexi Allen.
She went all the way in on it, but he didn't bat an eye. He didn't think about Leandria and her life and what she had to go through. But now you're so hurt. But like you said, maybe some good can come out of all of this. in the end.
It did. They reconciled. And let me tell you some of the things that Carn said. And I would like for Carn to call into the show and give us the explanation. And I'm going to tell you what I would like.
No explanation that's going to get it except for his fans. They're going to believe anything he say.
Well, I'm not.
Last thing.
Oh, go ahead.
The world is mocking the church, Mr. Larry.
Yep.
And we have no defense. You can't blame them for not wanting to come and be a part of this foolishness.
Yeah. I agree.
You can't blame them. How are we going to win the millennials?
I agree. And this is the reason why this was said by Marcia Morrison, Bishop Bernard Jordan, because it was 2 days of it. Carn didn't come to the second day. Demetrius Senegal, I think. This was the consensus. The whole purpose of the College of Prophets is to bring, because see, the church is built on, if you believe the Bible, is built on the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ being the chief cornerstone. So if you see prophets trying to work through stuff, work together and form a movement, you're looking at the resuscitation, the reformation, and the, what was the word that I used earlier? Redemption of the black church. You know, so let's see what happened. And if they happen to invite me again, I'm gonna come back. Well, I ain't gonna say I'm gonna come back up here because these niggas have paid me to do this. Because this is my darn platform.
You probably won't get invited back because a lot of stuff don't need to get out. They're not going to invite you back.
I don't even care. Like I said, look, I'm busy anyway. I like to go where I can make some money, you know, but it was my mentor invited me, you know, and so that's really what got me in the door. And George Bloomer is really fun on the phone. You know, and I really have a good time with Demetrius now that we done reconciled and fixed everything. You know, that's why I went like, look, I can go. Because I had to do like some sessions. Because, you know, I do them personal prophecies on my site and stuff. So I had to run out a couple of times to go do some prophecies. But other than that, I was able to do it. And that's some radio calls. You know, but thank you so much for calling, man. I gave you over a minute, too.
All right. Peace.
He raised something, though, I was going to tell y'all. In that fuss back and forward, somebody's name came up. It was Lexi Allen because Bishop began to go back. Y'all, I got off topic. Did I talk about this? Bishop began to go back and tell Brian, hey, you talking about me. I've been stabbed in the back. When you were on the Lexi Allen show and talked about selling prophets, you didn't speak up for me. You had stayed in my house. You knew my spirit, and you just let this interview with Lexi to let me be clowned, and you didn't speak up for me. And that's when we begin to see that hurt. He began to talk about being stabbed in the back and things of that nature. This happened on the Lexi Allen show. Lexi was the same person that when Brian Carn blackballed Leandria, the attempt, she went online and just said whatever she had to say about Brian Carn. I forgot to bring that up because her name was also brought up in that conversation that sort of contributed to the contention that was between Master Prophet E. Bernard Jordan and also Brian Carn. All right, let's take some more phone calls. Let's go. Caller ending in 4554. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, Larry, this is Janet calling in from Raleigh, North Carolina again.
What up?
Hey, I want to say, I think that's a wonderful idea. I'll tell you why. Because when we look in the Bible in Galatians chapter 2, Paul rebukes Peter in front of everybody because Peter publicly did some things that was grimy, that Paul considered was grimy. And at the end of the day, the blessing is that they were able to come to each other, share what was on their heart, and then be reconciled, and that's what it's all about. And these prophets need to be held accountable because they out there saying all kind of stuff. And people's lives and their marriages and are being shipwrecked, their families, behind these words that these people are saying. And there needs to be accountability in the kingdom that is going to bring back the fear of God to the gift of the prophet, because they don't even fear God anymore. When Samuel went into town, people were saying, are you here for good or are you here for bad? They were afraid because they knew that when he spoke, that Most High was going to move. And so because these people are not held accountable, they're saying all kind of stuff for money. It's not about money. It's about the kingdom of the Most High being glorified and exalted in the earth, that people will know that he is still speaking. Yep. So I agree with you, Larry. And I believe that I believe that some of those women should be incorporated, but I believe that if their level of maturity, because women sometimes can be catty no matter how great their anointing is. If the maturity level is not there, then they need to reconsider having some of those women sit on that board, because you don't want the conflict. You want unity. You want oneness, because that's how the walls of Jericho came down. And I believe the walls of division, the walls of mockery, the walls of because I'm not believing God is speaking,
But you know,
will come down when those prophets are held accountable.
And I get what you're saying about women being counted, but I believe these women need to be on the board because when you talk about the prophetic, and you don't want to the black church. And at the top of the black church is dominated by testosterone, but then when it comes to the nuts and the meat of the church and the running of the church, black women are in the church, so their voice are needed, And so they were discussing all different types of topics and things that are coming up. This is why I think it's very important. They have to have this lady, and she's gonna come up on you guys on your screen. Dr. Paula Price absolutely has to be a part of the College of Prophets. I don't have her cell phone number,
agree.
but she has to be on the College of Prophets when it comes to the order and the understanding. Now, she ain't got all the darn answers. Ain't none of these niggas got all the answers. That's why it's need a college, because everybody needs a balance. Because if we do it the way Paula Price want to do it, that ain't going to work. We can't do it the way that we want, that Juanita want it done, or the way Brian Meadows or Stevenson want it done, or Bernard Jordan. We need to see something when it comes to the prophetic, the coming together and of the minds.
I agree.
And the educational piece. And I think I told Demetrius, this is a brilliant idea. Absolutely brilliant. Just got to pull it off. Thank you so much for calling in.
Can I say something real quick?
Can
I say something real quick? I agree with you about the women. Don't get me wrong. I agree with you about the women being on the board. I agree with that. I'm just saying that they need to monitor, or they need to really just, I want to say, screen for the maturity level. That's all I'm saying, for that to be able to handle being able to not being agreed with, because some people can't handle that, And
I brought that up. That was the first thing I brought up. I said, can we handle? I said that this person may believe no earrings and makeup. I said, Brian don't want you to look like a pure nun to be saved. I said, then you got Matthew Stevenson who you can wear skinny jeans and like you melted and poured in them, and they don't matter. I said, can we all sit together and not get into those issues and just focus on the prophetic? And that was one of the weaknesses. So all of that's been discussed.
Okay.
This is, I'm telling you, if the future of COP, if you agree with me, and this ain't about agreeing with me, but if you think this can be a great idea and is a great idea, hashtag LarryReidLive right now all over all of your social media. Make it trend on Twitter. If you got a Twitter account, hashtag LarryReidLive. I'm going to click it after the show up and see how many people did it, because I think there are 2,000 of you that are on right now across all social media. So I want to see if you guys agree with me. Thank you so much for calling in.
All right.
I think this is going to be good. I hope they're able to pull it off. I know they got another meeting in January. I don't know when they're going to open up to other people, but I think this will be really, 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 really good. I said 2,000, but what's that? That's 1,600 people. All right, let's go. Next caller. Caller ending in 5502. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Larry. It's Marlene.
Hey, Marlene.
Yeah. Listen, I think it's a wonderful idea. I agree with, I'm talking fast because I want to get my 60 seconds in. I think that Matthew Stevenson should be a part of it. Yep. I believe it should have a diverse sense of ideas, and with him, he may be a little extreme you look at him with, Brian Carn and Bishop, but with Bishop Bernard Jordan, I go back as far as when I lived in New York and he was at the Doral Inn. You remember that?
Mm-mm.
In a hotel. That's how far back I go. And one of his spiritual mothers was Loretta Taylor.
Oh, okay.
Prophet Loretta Taylor. So he has always been authentic. I mean, he is the master prophet.
Yeah.
When we're talking about in the black church. And nobody can take that away from you. You don't have to like him to love him.
Yeah.
But that man is called by God. He is a prophet in every sense of the word all day long, 24/7. And I know you know that. But in regards to, I was a little bit disappointed in regards to TV and Daystar.
Mm-hmm.
That was a dagger to me too.
Yeah.
When I heard you say it, it was like I didn't know that they had clauses in when they come on and what you could say, because they flow in the Holy Spirit, and I mean they bring a lot of prophets. But the other thing I want to say, and I want to say before we get off, is that the exposure to how black prophets operate and when they have disagreements. Maybe you could speak to that in another show. When white prophets, because they already have their board, like the prophet that died, John Paul Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own board or a prophet, and things happen amongst them too. It's no different than in the black, but we never find out about all of the discord.
Yeah, and that's just because we just haven't.
I think that this board would work. I think
it will.
I think it would work if every now and then, if you're not going to be on it, that they reach out to you. Because I think that I'm just being honest. I know we're friends and we go back, but I wouldn't say it if I didn't feel it. I think that you are the voice of reasoning, and it's very possible that what happened in that room wouldn't have happened with you being there. Because I'm with you. When stuff starts to spill out, then you need to deal with it right then and there. Because, you know what I mean, as much as you can. So I think you're the voice of reasoning. I hope that you're an advisor. If you're not on the board, that you're somebody that they can come to and be the voice of reason. But I think it would be awesome, because the prophetic has been so dishonored that people don't even want, if you even put the title prophet on the end of, the beginning of your name, people won't even, I mean, the prophetic is, in our church, in black churches, it's really low. I mean, people don't want to hear, they don't want to see that you a prophet. They already offended.
Yeah,
and they pull back. And I'm someone who flows in the prophetic. And you don't even want people don't even want to hear that. They don't even want prophecy to go forth. So I pray. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
But I think it will be a better idea if you stay
I got you. Thank
somewhere
you.
close.
I got to stay around 1 minute. Thank you so much for calling in. And I will happen to agree with you. I hear some people in the comments, you guys are saying, where's Master Prophet in the word? I'm going to say this. Y'all not going to agree with me. Do you know the Bible is over 2,000 years old? There's some things that happen in our world that the Bible just ain't going to spell out A to Z. You have to find something in there to get sort of close, the foundation of what be going on. For example, the word master is just a professional word. If you're a master at this or a master at that, I think it's over 25,000 working hours for you to become a master at something. And he is the head honcho of a school of prophets. They were called masters. Elijah in the word, they said, did you know when the sons of prophets came to him, do you know that your master is going to be taken from you today? There it is in the Bible. Take that. Then just take that and use that and believe that. So you got to have every little tiny piece of thing in there. School master. You ain't saying nothing about that. Heck, y'all do too much with this stuff. They do too darn much. If you're a master at it, ain't you got a master's degree? Let's take some more callers. Y'all ain't get me fussing today. Let's go. Caller ending in 5100. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hi, Larry. This is Sky from Houston. Okay, real quick, I have a question for you. So was Joshua Holmes there? Was he invited and was he there?
Okay, first of all, somebody text me and said, Larry, you said the Bible 2,000 years old. I'm sorry. I'm talking real fast. I know it's not that old. I think it's around 750 years old. But the information does do historical data about 2,000 years ago. Joshua Holmes. Now, I know he was invited to the first College of Prophets. You would have to ask Demetrius. Maybe somebody's watching that know Demetrius. You can tell him if he want to answer those questions, he will, to tell you more about the College of Prophets. I don't mind if you call in and do that. I'll give you opportunity to do that. Mind you, this is all free. So all of my followers, this information I'm bringing you back and this kind of exclusivity, y'all need to bless me on tonight. I heard that he was invited to the first one. I don't know if he was invited to the second one. Let me text him and find out. Let me call him and see. Y'all want to find out live on TV?
Please do, because we still haven't even addressed, like, we need to call him to the carpet on the whole Jesus thing and people changing their name.
Okay,
so
well,
that's that on that. But I ain't gonna use
but
my
see
whole
that
minute on that.
that can be something that the college of prophets can have, because it was like a prophetic court yesterday. That prophets can talk to him and find out what's really going on. Are people doing this on their own? Is this something that he's suggesting that people do? Because people get crazy around leadership. They start worshiping. You ever heard of Daddy Grace and all them kind of folk? Folks start idolizing folk. Because that could be what's going on, and it's really not him. But let me ask him, see if he was invited. Hold on. You stay right there. I'm gonna see if he can answer. He got about 159 numbers. Let's see if this one's still on. I'm gonna ask him. And clear my voice. Y'all hear it ringing. Let's see if he gonna answer.
He ain't gonna answer.
No, he ain't gonna answer. But if he do answer, I'm gonna ask him. And he a prophet. He might know I'm live. God closed his eyes so he won't know that I'm live, and he answered the darn phone. No, that's that funny ring right there. It's about to go to voicemail. No, he ain't answering.
You know he wasn't gonna answer.
I'm gonna text him and ask, was he invited? Were you invited to the College of Prophets? Yes or no? Just keep watching. I'm gonna let you know. Thank you so much for calling in.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, go ahead on. Give me that. That's like hang it up. Don't hit that.
Oh, you done used up my whole minute. Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead on.
Okay, TBN Daystar. I've been boycotted them way before all of this happened, when the election with Obama, and you really saw how a lot of them saw it, the white evangelicals. So I boycotted them a long time ago, even when Prophet Carn was on there. Okay, that's that on that. Also, y'all need to include in the board Apostle Eckhart. He got to be there. And Brian Keith Williams. He need to be there as well. So I totally agree with that, and I think it's a great idea. That's all.
There are 24 slots to be filled, according to what I heard yesterday, the executive and the advisory board. That sounds very interesting. That would be good to see Apostle John Hart in that light. Eckhart. Thanks so much for calling in.
And I think one more thing, and I'm done. Matthew Stevenson, I feel like he's not going to do it, and I feel like he's going to try to start his own. I hope he does it, but I think that's what he's going to do.
Well, that wouldn't be effective. He has 10 churches. It wouldn't be as effective. We need diversity. And this is Carn, Matthew, Holmes, Demetrius, Bloomer, Jordan. That's a lot of diversity. Even when you're talking about Janet Floyd as opposed to Juanita, as opposed to Medina, that's a lot of diversity. I think they need diversity. And I think this would be really, really, really good. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thanks.
Y'all had to hit Demetrius up on IG and tell him who you think will be in the College of Prophets. And I think it would be so dope. I think it's a great idea. Y'all tell me what you think. I'm gonna take some more phone calls. I'm gonna try to get back to 1 minute because I know I'm wearing y'all patience. Let's go. Caller in and then 3420. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Tony calling from Dallas. Okay, Larry, I'm going to try and make this quick. Okay, first off, with this whole Brian Carnes and him being hurt situation, I'm going to need him to understand that there's a law that does not change even for God, and it's called the law of reciprocity. You reap what you sow.
Okay.
So what he got was because of all of the stuff that he's done. Secondly, as far as the College of Prophets, I think it's a great thing. I think it's something that is necessary. The problem that we'll run into is that there are so many people who believe that their view is the only view. The Bible declares that we prophesy in part, so nobody gets the full vision. You have to be willing to understand that you're going to see a part and somebody else is going to see a part, and we have to come to a place where we can stand together and get an understanding of the thing. Even in the Old Testament, when Ezekiel spoke, he spoke in I believe it's Ezekiel 13, where it says, "Woe be unto those foolish prophets that prophesied in their flesh." When it spoke to them, it identified that they were prophets, but it also identified that they were foolish because they were speaking out of themselves.
Okay.
We naturally are going to hear from a purified God, and it's coming through this filthy flesh, so sometimes it's going to be diluted by our own thought patterns. And
Gotcha.
we've got to be willing to come together so we can fix that.
Okay, got you. Thank you so much for keeping it almost sort of like a minute. Thank you so much. Caller in 0217. You got 1 minute. Tell me what you think about all this.
Hey, this is A. Levine from South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say I'm glad that y'all had a kumbaya cover Jesus moment with Prophet Carn. But as the last caller said, we really, really please get in touch with Prophet Joshua Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all talked about the young generation. He has a sway on this young generation like nobody I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Some of his teachings are the most powerful and the most biblically sound ever. But all that mess over He's My Jesus is distracting that.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody really needs to sit him down like a master prophet, Ibn Jordan, and get a hold of him on that part, because everything else is so powerful. And he really is moving the young generation like nobody I've never seen before. And they are his whole persona, personality, the way he dresses, the way he speaks, his whole entertainment level, the way he reaches them is nothing like, it's very modern and it's very today, and young people are getting it.
Okay. All right, I hear you. And they're listening and they're watching. Thank you so much. Yeah. Caller in 5604. What's your name? Where you calling from? Got 1 minute. Tell me what you think.
This is John the Baptist. Listen.
John the Baptist, what city you calling from?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, all right.
Listen, this whole thing with Brian Carn, look, his whole ministry went down when he predicted that George H.W. Bush was going to die 3 years ago or 4 years ago or whatever. His prophecy was totally false, and everything that went with that. This thing with Joshua Holmes, this is a total false prophet that is really taking this young generation to hell. Anybody that would call this man Jesus, what we need to get back to is the word of God. And that is what prophets don't do. They think that their word trumps the word of God. That's all I got to say, man. This is my first time calling. I love your show. Good night.
Thank you so much for calling in, man. That loud dang 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 is getting on my nerves. That dangle a dang. What is that dangle a dang? Can't you give another sound that's irredentate is messing with my spiritualisms? My spirits is bothered. You're messing with my spiritualizations and my nerves. All right, this next one. Caller in 5538. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's David, man. I'm from Queens, New York.
What up?
I think, what's up, man? I listen, Brian Carn, that whole thing is like a cancer, and it hasn't been addressed. And so it all just seems, really, really kind of crazy. Everybody's just breezing over it. He has never answered it. And for a college of bishops to kind of embrace him makes the whole thing suspect. Yeah, college of prophets. Yeah, it makes it all suspect to me.
It make it all what now?
It makes it all suspect because they're not holding him accountable to it. He needs to say what it is. What happened? I still don't know what the answer is. How did he get the same list as the lady?
I would like to know. He got upset with me. He said this is what he said publicly. He said he don't copy witches copy him. He said this at the first College of Prophets. I think you can still see it online. On the second day, he mentioned that. He said to me yesterday, he said, Reid, you supposed to be helping nobody and not hurting nobody. He said, why you get on your show and say that I said that I didn't copy nobody, but you said you don't believe it? I said, because that's what my darn opinion is. I feel like, my opinion is that you did do it, and you just won't own up to it and say it.
The college should hold him to the fire for it.
But how will we hold it? But this is the thing. But this is the thing. This is what he said yesterday. He said when a man say he didn't do something, you should just let it go. And I agree with that. But I have let it go.
Cancer.
But hold on, for me, I have let it go. But if you ask me, If I think he copied the witch, I'm gonna say, yeah. But I still let it go.
Yeah,
I can
and they
still hear
just-
you preach.
and the
I can
college
still hear.
just say that
I can
as
still hear you prophesy because he prophesied to Larry. You know, and quite a bit of that has came to pass. You know, that one time he prophesied to me. You know, so I've heard of the prophecies that came to pass. I've aired some prophecies up here that have came to pass. I still play and call them opposite prophet. You know, but. I mean, I'm going to have my darn opinion. I don't know what's the problem with these church people. I can't have an opinion. Let me have an opinion, man. And we still can be cool. Thanks so much for calling in.
Yeah.
Hey! Caller, what in the world? Caller in at 6112. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello?
Hello, Larry Reid.
Yeah.
I would like to bring my belt and come in there and like Jesus came into the temple and turned the tables up and everything. I would like to come and bring my belt and give a couple of them prophets a good whooping.
Why?
Because a couple of them do people wrong and they don't own up to it.
Okay. Well, do you think the College of Prophets may be the community that can help heal itself?
Sir, I really wish they would really get saved. If they really get saved, they'll tell the truth and stop lying. Because there's two other names that you brought up that I know of a couple of situations that they lied about.
Okay. Okay.
And one of them is scared of me.
One of them is what?
One of them are scared of me because he told he told a musician and a group of people, don't bring his name up. I'm scared of him.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, but you a prophet.
Oh, okay. All right.
I really need for them to get saved. I'm gonna get off.
Okay, look. Well, the next time you see a flyer for the College of Prophets, get your long, thick leather belt and show up. Thank you so much for calling in.
Hello.
All right, next one. Caller in at 2364. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Bishop Damone out of New York. How you doing, Larry?
I'm doing good.
Larry, man, we're in trouble. Okay. I think people see the inauthentic move that's happening here. Everyone wants to walk in the prophetic, but everyone's lives is pathetic. And so it's hard for people to come to those who are so pathetically living their lives to see that they're hearing from the Lord. Okay. I think you all need to go sit down and be ministered to by somebody else.
Okay.
Because the very ones you've named, the very ones you've mentioned, are chief among those who are living the most pathetic lives before the people. So no one wants to hear from them.
Okay.
No one wants to hear from them. In terms of this whole masterpiece, listen, call no one master. Call no one rabbi. You have one master, one father, one rabbi, and he is God. So we have to, and that's a very Eurocentric thought that we've adapted. We've adapted so much Eurocentricity in the black church that we don't even know our own identity. That's all I got to say about that. But I think folks got to go sit down. Folk need to be healed. Folk need to be ministered to. And some people just need to realize that they're not it right now. They're not it. So that's my thought. That's my opinion.
All right. And you know
my
you can always you can always call into LarryReidLive and express your opinion. You are the co-host.
Larry, we're in a sad state of affairs, brother, and we got to get on the wall and we got to get in God's face because we're a laughing stock right now. With reason.
I will say that in many circles the black church is, and that's the reason why I think it would be great to create something to where the healing can begin within ourselves. But I got you.
I agree with you with the creation of the College of Prophets. I think the ones who've assembled themselves need to go sit down under some others.
Okay, before you sign off, because your time is up, give me a name or two you think that need to be on the College of Prophets since the ones that assembly ain't right.
I would tell you, Dr. Jeremiah Wright,
Okay.
a powerful prophetic voice.
Okay.
Otis Moss, the third, out of Chicago, a powerful prophetic voice.
Okay.
I would even say, and I'm on the edge, but I would say Rudolph McKissick.
Okay. I did. His name
Rudy
did. His
McKissick.
name. Listen. His name did come up yesterday to be approached concerning the advisory board.
Well, he's friendly with Carn and with the boy who's over now at New Birth. No, we're not talking about that right now. But
Jamal.
they're running the same circles. He's my frat brother. But I just think I think we've become so self-famous that we need to sit down and take the onus off of self. These folk who call themselves master prophets need to go sit down with some folk who are really on the wall and who are in the face and in the ear of the Lord.
I got you, man. Thank you so much for calling in.
Bless you, love you, man.
All right, love you too. Now, one thing is, and I understand what the caller is saying, but you got to remember this is a college of prophets. They already have a college of bishops. We have a college of prophets. So the people that will be on the executive board, the people that be executing things need to be prophets. The people that are on the advisory board, I can see where they may not be prophets, but this isn't a matter of making another college of bishops. From my understanding, from listening what they were saying concerning their vision, it was really a college of prophets. So it has to be prophets. Okay, let's go. Let's keep going. All right, caller, if you can hear me, it's time for you to talk. What's your name? Where you're calling from? You got 1 minute. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you.
Can you hear me, Brother Larry?
Yeah, I can. Go ahead.
Hi, I am Pastor Carl Peterson
Okay.
from Buffalo, New York,
All right.
and I have been the chief armor bearer for the Prophet Carn ministry for over 12 and a half years.
Wow.
I've traveled with Prophet Carn extensively from the year of 2006 to the year of 2018, April. Nobody, the very fact that I'm talking, the ground trembles with people that are listening, because if anybody know, they know I know. I know Prophet Brian Carn when he was Brian Carn, when he had a bush biting his nails and God called him onto the major circuit. I have been on every major platform that Prophet Carn has ever been on. And the Bible says, know them that labor among you. What I want to say to you is going to be very profound to your listeners and to everybody that's hearing my voice. I can personally tell you, and when I speak, my name is Peterson. People know I know what I'm talking about. Prophet Carn is probably one of the most gifted 21st century word of knowledge, evangelist, prophetic guy on the planet. The reason why I said that, because I know, I'm not going to get into the mistakes and everything and the proclivities, but I want to let you know that the Bible says that the gifts and callings are without repentance. First, I want to say this. When you talk about the office of prophet, the last office that was fulfilled in that was John the Baptist. He was the last person to fulfill the office of a prophet on the Old Testament order. After the 400 years of silence from Malachi to Matthew, and when Jesus starts coming in Matthew, when we talk about the prophetic and we talk about the word of knowledge, the scriptures lets us know in 1 Corinthians, the 12th chapter, that Spirit of God would jump on anybody not in that office. The reason why I said that is because I know personally that Prophet Carn is a anointed vessel of God. I also know that maybe some of the hit and misses. Now, as a pastor, I have preached over 10,000 sermons, and I have missed one.
90 seconds.
But the people don't understand, even when you look at Samson. Now, Samson, if you look at his life, Samson had a whole lot of proclivities, but was not the Lord with him.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that to justify any sin, because what I'm saying is this. You cannot judge the gift and calling on a person from maybe some of the proclivities that we
60
all have.
seconds.
But I can personally vouch, Brother Larry. I have almost lived with Prophet Carn on the road. I know him before he hit the major circuit and while he was on the circuit. And any of the Johnny-come-lately guys that are around him now know me. I am the guy. And I can tell you, Brother Larry, that man would pray all night long, and people talk about what he missed, but we got to talk about what he hit.
Well, one
And
of the
all I'm
things,
saying is,
one of the things that we do here on the show, you know, I nickname him Opposite Prophet Brian Carn, but of course it's the entertainment show, so I'm gonna be funny like that. Now,
okay, that's fine.
yeah, and the thing
10 seconds.
that I want to know is, you travel with him from what year to when now? Say that again.
From 2006, June, to April of 2018.
Why are you no longer?
Everyone who's been around Prophet Carn know Peterson.
Why are you
I'm the guy.
Why are you no longer working with him?
The reason why I'm no longer working with Prophet Carn is because when Prophet Carn started pastoring, my assignment as a traveling armor bearer came to an end when Prophet Carn started pastoring. I've been with Prophet Carn on all the major platforms. Benny Hinn know me.
Okay.
Rob Parsley know me. Everybody knows Peterson.
Okay, question.
If anybody can speak about Prophet Carn, I can speak.
Right. Well, you know, here on the show, like I said before, I believe that he's gifted. I absolutely believe that he has an authentic gift.
Yes,
absolutely, hand down. Now, I got another question for you. I'm going to let you go. Do you believe that he copied the witch?
Do I believe he copied the witch? I believe personally, and to show the audience that I'm transparent, when the witch came out and Prophet Carn, matter of fact, when Prophet Carn went to that service, Prophet Carn had just left Buffalo burying my mother. And when Prophet Carn prophesied that, I was supposed to be with him, but I stayed back grieving with my mother. When the lady came out, and the lady had word for word, and one of your people picked it up and said that it was supposed to be a clarity in the 48 hours. What I can tell you is this. It is very overwhelming evidence that there was the same thing that was written, that was said. And that's why I say, as a pastor, out of 10,000 sermons that I preach, I know that I have missed it. But I will say this to the audience. Don't make it a mistake about it. You all know, Brother Larry, you do too. There are some things that Prophet Carn prophesied under the unction of the Holy Spirit that he was bullseye on.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, think about this master prophet. And I agree with one brother said. There is no master prophet. They may be a mature preacher in the word of knowledge, but the word of God really is the sure way of prophecy.
Gotcha.
But there is nowhere in Scripture that after John the Baptist passed away, and now that we're under the grace of the Holy Spirit, you, Larry, if you seek God, God can speak to you and give you something.
Me?
So when it comes to, when it comes to the church, especially the African American church, and I say this transparent, and that's why I say my name. And believe me, my name carry weight.
Gotcha.
It seems like the word bishop is a disease in our churches, and it seems like these titles, prophet. But if people know the word of God, according to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, with the gifts, the Spirit of God can jump on any believer and they can prophesy.
So
they can foretell or foretell. Now watch this. Hear me, Larry. Prophet Carn prophesied that shooting was going to take place in Pittsburgh. Did it not happen?
Oh yeah, I had that on the show. I put that on the show.
Did he not, Larry, say
he did.
that
he did.
Did he not say that?
Yeah, he was right. And the other thing that happened, there was something that happened. In fact, every prophecy in the last little bit has been on point. So but this is the problem that I have with a lot of pastors and church people. Number one, they don't answer the question straight. And I asked you, and you took me right around the bush to answer the question. But I understand what your answer is now. Your answer is
you asking me.
Yeah.
You asking me, do I think that Prophet Carn plagiarized the witch?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking me?
Yes.
I'm going to say this transparently, that there is overwhelming evidence that Prophet Carn said the same thing that this soothsayer said.
Gotcha.
But also, too, Larry, before I go, I got to be honest, because I see that man praying from 12 a.m. to 8 p.m.
They don't take nothing away from him. This is what I want. This is the thing.
Right.
It don't take nothing away. I'm gonna tell you, you may didn't know this, but I come from a line of prophets. I've been prophesying since I can't tell for how long. I understand the temptation and the pressure. Especially, I used to do a word of the Lord every single year and predict. I predicted the Katrina, the tsunami. I predicted the president Bush. This President Trump. I predicted it. Carn was saying it was the other woman, not the woman. I told him that it was not. I said on the what's the name that he was wrong on my live stream. But I understand that. But I understand I remember it was the beginning of the year. I was doing a written prophecy for the year, and I was writing, and I felt like I had to come up with the prediction. And when I was writing on that paper, the Holy Spirit said to me, don't do this no more. I started getting known for my predictions because they were happening to the T. Said, don't do this no more. That pressure that you feel, that's not me, that's the people. I think that he fell into that temptation and he started reaching. And so he just reached and just used that. That's just what I think. And to me, he's young. And even dealing with him yesterday, I think he's about 30 years old.
And a lot of people don't understand. He hit the road at 16 years old.
Yeah.
Half of the stuff. And I'm going to tell you something, because I've traveled with the best and I know the best. Had we not had social media, with some of these heroes and shields that we looked to 20 or 30 years ago, stuff would have came out on them. So I say this. Even like when we talked about the guy that's married to Kim Kardashian, West, right?
Yeah, Kanye.
If you read in Prophet Carn's book, The Vault is Open, God told us through Prophet Carn that man will have psychological problems in his mind. Did he not write? Did you read that book?
No, I didn't read it.
Okay, he said that Kanye West would have mental problems.
Mm-hmm.
What do we see? And see, what people don't understand, and I agree with some of you, and I understand what you're saying. Sometimes we say stuff going to happen Tuesday, and then he falls. And then there's some things that Prophet Carn said that was not on. But
I don't think that makes you false because you missed a prophecy. I think that makes you presumptuous. I think that makes you anxious. I think that makes you impatient. I think that makes you maybe immature. With your gift. I don't think that necessarily makes you false. When
Prophet Carn hit the road, when I was his chief armor bearer. I'm 56 years old. I'm known in the Buffalo, New York season preacher. Gotcha. But they don't understand that Prophet Carn, when he started out, he was a child.
Yeah, I get that. I get
gift.
That. I done gave you way more than a minute. I gotta let you go.
Thank you.
But thank you so much.
You gave it to me because I know him. I've been talking about him, don't I? I love you, Larry.
Thank you so much for calling in. All right, next caller. You should give it to me because I know him. Caller in 1184. What's your name? Where you calling from? 1 minute. I don't care if you Jesus.
God bless you. This is Minister Stone from Passaic, New Jersey. How you doing, Larry?
I'm good.
I think this is something just listening. This is the first time I called in and even watched your show. The one thing that we need to understand, even as a young minister, I'm 28, and studying the Word of God, this is the thing that we have to come to an understanding. The Bible is very clear. Touch not my prophet and do my prophets no harm. That's one.
Okay.
Two, the other thing that we need to understand is that there's a difference between office and calling or title. The problem with the church of today is the fact that everybody wants the title, not understanding it's an office. It's not a title. God gifted you to flow in the prophetic. Me personally, at 28 years old, anybody that wants to be a prophet ought to second guess. Because at the end of the day, when you become a prophet, when you walk in that office, like one of the callers said, gifts and callings come without repentance. So there's a lot of things, there's a lot of attacks that you're going to go through. Now, I've heard Prophet Brian Carn. I've seen him. You understand what I'm saying? And one thing about me as a young preacher is I'm tired of the church going through things because people are falsely advocating things. It's time for the church to get back to what God's called. The Bible says that if my people, which are called by my name, would turn from their wicked ways and seek my face, then will I hear from heaven and heal their land.
I got a question for you. Do you think that the College of Prophets is something a good thing or not?
I believe that if you're going to have a College of Prophets that is going to be educated, the one reason why I say yay and nay, here's why, real quick. The reason why I say yes is because you can have other prophets who are experienced, who can mature the ones who have not been prophetically gifted long enough. I say nay because everybody wants to be a prophet, just like bishop and apostle. Everybody wants to be this and everybody wants to be that. But if we can call an ace and a spade,
yeah, I got
the Bible says, many are called, few are chosen. So I believe it's a good idea, but a bad one, because we have enough publicity where everybody wants it, but who's going through the suffering for it?
I hear you. Thank you so much for calling.
No problem. That's just my thoughts as a young preacher. That's just my thoughts.
I got you.
All right.
You gonna do your job? I run the show. If I say all right, you click the X. This is the thing. I wonder why. Is there any part of you guys that think that black folk working together, trying to do one thing, work out differences, and educate? No part of you is like, okay, yeah, I may not like that person. I may not like that person. I think that was crazy, but the idea is good. A black people coming together, trying to fix some of the. I just don't know. I guess it's where my mind goes. Let's see what y'all got to say. I'm gonna keep going. I'm doing 1 minute now. I'm just gonna hit the X. Go. Caller in and 7212. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Brandon Everett from Wilson, North Carolina.
What's up, man?
What's going on, man? Here's the thing. First of all, I'm going to address everything that you said in 1 minute. Ready? Here we go.
All right.
Number one, everybody need to stop being so judgmental. He did this, he did that. The truth is, all of us have done something, whether we saved or not.
Yep.
Secondly, you are very correct. The unity that needs to happen, this needs to happen. Yep. Regardless of, we always teach each other to be on the job. I don't have to like you to work with you. Well, guess what? I don't have to like your idiot behind to work with you. We need this. It's too much. We go through too much. We do too much. We say too much. The next thing that you said, you're right. People don't know how to answer a question. You ask the man, do you believe? I don't care about the evidence. Either you believe he did it or you believe he died. Second of all, he wants to validate him being a child. He's 50-something year old, armor bearing a child. What's that about? I'll move on. So,
all right.
But in totality, what you said, love your man, proud of you, be easy.
Thank you so much. And he done it in a minute. He pushed himself, and he know me and could have kept talking. The thing, and I think I know the white folk got dysfunctions and all that kind of going on, but you guys, and you know I love the white folk and I got white friends. But what they're talking about going on in their community, I can talk to them about it, but they have to fix what's up in their community. We got to fix what's up in all of our brown and our black communities, church, all of that, family. And then we have to sit across from others that are different from us and learn about each other and really share information so we can learn each other. But we got problems within our own self. I'm a black man Most of you watching the show is black. So I'm talking from a black perspective. The black church needs to heal. And I think this could be one of the steps in the right direction. I know some of you trying to call in and you can't get through. That's called my lines are clogged and I have to flush it and restart the system. All right, excuse me. Yeah. Caller ending in 7138. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, my name is Prophet J.P. I'm calling from Pennsylvania. I'm going to see what I want to say real quick. Everybody, I feel like.
Can you speak up? Speak up some.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
That's much better. So I'm going to go really quick. I just really feel like everybody wants to call in and judge and call in and point the finger. But the reality is this: as leaders, as laymen, I don't want to hear anything you got to say if you ain't got love.
Agree.
And the reality is, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to shut up and hang up my phone, is that it said, follow peace with all men, oneness without which no man shall see the Lord. So I got to have oneness with myself, oneness with you, doctor, and oneness with Jesus. And that's the reality of it. So never mind my gift to the great armor bearer that's nationally known. I don't have love. And I'm not saying none of these gentlemen have love, but what I'm saying is where healing's going to come, where we're going to be submitted, is where we start to love. That's what's going to heal our land. That's what took place yesterday. We should celebrate that.
It did. It did. Thanks so much for calling in. Yeah, I want everybody to wrap their head around that. They went from fussing and the hurt and the pain, and you guys, it got resolved. It got resolved. I mean, laughing, talking, having a good time resolved. I'm pretty sure they've talked even since yesterday. I mean, so that's a great thing. I just don't see how, I guess I'm just focusing on, I'm an optimist. I guess I'm just focusing on that part and the coming together thing. I mean, me and Demetrius buried our hatchet this year as well. I think this is ultimately good. All right, another caller. Caller ending in 7865. What's your name? Where you calling from? Lord. Should we reboot and let more callers? How long I been on? Woo, Lord Jesus, it's too long. I hate to that's so many oh God, there's still like 1,300 people on. I hate to hang up on you guys, but I still got another show on Monday. But look, make sure you share this link and let everybody know about this conversation, what happened, and about the College of Prophets. If you think that it is a great idea, tell somebody about it. I think it's a great idea. They probably want to invite me back. Well, Bishop is probably going to invite me, but the rest of them like, nope, Larry can't come because that. Oh, well, this is what I say. If I can't be there and you don't want me there, that means you got something to hide and something ain't right and something ain't genuine. What you think? If it can't be questioned, that means there's something up with it. And I ain't even sharing everything. I'm just talking about the fight. And you ought to be glad I did it without you paying me, because it costs money for me to talk about stuff that ain't out and viral. That means I'm publicizing it. Mm-hmm. In fact, I need the College of Bishops to cash app me right now. That's $LarryReid. Every last one of y'all that were there yesterday, give me my money. Give me my money. Give me my money. Give me my money. I want my munties. $LarryReid. Thank you so much, because I advertised this for y'all free. It won't never happen again. I don't care what happens. Jesus walking there, like David Taylor say, and show himself the front side and back side. You had to get on your own social media and tell somebody about it, because I am not saying nothing about it because you didn't give me the money. All right, I see you later. Bye.